business, and then your business must have a bank account. So that's why up to so far, you remember this? Remember this? After closing them, remember, we transferred them to, if you remember very well, I showed you last week. What is this? General ledger? So, honestly, we are going to reconcile our books together with what? Our bank statement. Why? Because of what we call the timing differences or the adjusting what? Differences. But I'll explain. Because normally, guys, when you pay me, let's say at the counter there, obviously I'm going to increase what? The receipts. And the receipts will increase what? Remember when we did the bank account, this side is what? This side is? Here is where you? Here is where you? So if you give me 500, it will first come there and it will indirectly increase what? Does that make sense? Yes. But the same 500, I must go and deposit. It must be reflected on what? How much? Debit or credit? Is where the difference comes. On the bank statement, credits are favorable. That's why, have you ever seen something called credit orders? Hey, my credit orders didn't go through. Have you ever heard someone say that? No. They say meaning debit means money went out. Just imagine a woman of your caliber celebrating for a debit of 1,000. Because Sylvester told you that bank increase on the debit side. I was referring in my books. But on the bank statement, debit means unfavorable. Credit means, in my books, is the opposite. Does that make sense?
It's confusing.
No. Okay. Remember, I'll explain why. Okay, why do I say bank increase on the debit side? Why do I say that? It's an asset.
It's an asset.
But remember, the same amount that I have is kept by the bank. In the bank's books, I'm not working for the bank. In the bank's book, I am there. Where will liabilities increase? That's why they credit you, because they owe you. So, but if you're working for the bank, you must behave like a bank. It's going to be like this. So I want you to know the difference. And again, this is a double entry. So the bank owes me how much? This 500 is mine. In my books, I must show it as my asset. So that's why accountants deal with this. But whatever amount of money we get, we must go and deposit. So when I deposit, I'm increasing what? So I'm going to, if I debit, meaning money went out. That's why they call it a debit order. I debit, you will see. You won't have this anymore.
So now that means that if my debit order went out, yes, obviously my money is going to increase. And there we're talking about a different story. There it's increasing.
No, remember, if you have got debit orders here, you must also come and update. So if you've got 500, this 500, let's say I've got a debit order of what? Of 60 rand. From SBOM. It's not SCOM anymore. Yeah. Let's say SBOM debited me how much?
60.
Can you see on the bank statement? I must also come and take it out here. How much?
60.
This is the reconciliation that I'm talking about. Sometimes figures appear there, not yet. I must come and adjust. Sometimes they are here, not yet on there. Is where the bank recon will come into play, but I'll show you how to deal with it.
So you're actually comparing the two.
That's true. But not the simple comparison. There are a little bit of,
Little bit different.
you know, but in a way it's just a comparison. That's why I'm saying if you have got differences, what do you normally do? You reconcile. But you know that you still have differences, but you just put them aside for now. Because you know that in the near future, we are going to forget about everything. The same applies here. The books do not always correspond. But what we do now, we reconcile them now because we know that next time, maybe, normally with the checks, no? Maybe the next week, the check will appear. Can you see? So we're reconciling for now, even though they don't completely correspond. Does that make sense? But I'll show you the process. But I want you to understand the understanding, especially between the banks.
So is there a specific time in the month that you do this?
We normally do this at the end of the month, but some companies, depending on the size, they do them every day. Because every day you extract bank statement and you check what happened. Sometimes transactions take place when you are sleeping. Yes, yes, you get interest when you are sleeping. Yeah, I used to control an account for about, I think it was used for, they call it a call account. When I was still working for something. And then I was controlling an account, obviously, okay, when I was working for Edvitech, because I used to be at Edvitech, and then there was an account for 30 million. So every day I had to control that account, I have to check what happened a day before. So you could find that there's an interest of 100,000, you never know. Because it depends whether it's a call account or a money market account, okay? So every day I need to account for that interest. That's why I realized that you can live on interest if you can be careful next time. Just leave the money in the bank, eh? In the morning you will just get your salary.
The money in the bank pay is too less.
But it depends on how much you have. If you talk about millions,
If you're talking about millions,
yeah, but I'm giving myself 2 years, my man, you'll see. Okay.
I also heard someone saying that when they're printing whatever they want to do this bank reconciliation, sometimes she's always saying this with the other bookkeeper, I want everything in sequence.
Yes, can you see in sequence? It's like, for example, when you check, obviously the CBR must be in sequence. That's why the dates are important. Because this is the process, by the way. Why we compare this and the bank statement. So obviously you cannot say I'm on the 31st and then after you are on the 1st. So everything must be in order. The same applies to the bank statement. The bank obviously has transactions in a sequence form on the 1st, 2nd, something like that. So that it can be easier for them. But I don't think, if you're using spreadsheet, maybe you can change the sequence, But if you're using the computerized accounting, everything is always in what? In order there. But if they are not in order, there's always a sign there. Can you see the errors will be shown?
Because she'll come and say, she check the bank statement, see, the last balance was 30,000. And then the next should be start of 30,000 as well.
It's because sometimes it's not your fault. It's because of the timing difference.
I see.
Yeah. So you must just check. Sometimes things don't go according to our plan. That's how we do reconciliation. She must not be angry. It's her job to reconcile.
Oh, I see. Because I said what she's talking about, yeah.
Now, can I explain the differences?
Yes.
Remember, no figures today. Yes, I talk about figures, but no complicated figures. I talked about the timing and the adjusting. I want you to understand this. There's something called adjusting. And then we have got what we call timing. Just to explain the difference between these differences, you know what I mean? Now, what is the meaning of adjusting?
It's when you want to, make something to be, to be equal, maybe both sides,
Okay. Let's say a better example, maybe I've given you this before. Let's say you're my neighbor. And they now my neighbors, they play music. I don't know why do they play music, especially on Saturday and Sunday morning. Yeah? Neighbors sometimes the music is high, the volume is high. Let's say the neighbor is playing the good music on Sunday, you know what I mean? Metro FM. And then you go there, it's very loud. You go to the neighbor and say, my neighbor, please adjust the volume. What will your neighbor do? It will go down.
But if he doesn't like you,
what if you come to me and say, adjust the volume and turn the volume up? I thought maybe you like the music, you want the volume to be high.
I like that.
Adjusting as well.
Adjusting is either increase or decrease. You are not specific. You must be very specific, okay? So that's why when we adjust, sometimes we increase, sometimes we, depending on the circumstances. But between you and me as a neighbor, but myself and myself, maybe I mean, but between you and me can be different. Brother, like, hi, man, I want to get down too. You know what I mean? So that's why I want you to understand. Because when those who are going to do the financial statements, you will see a lot of what? But I hope everyone is coming back next year. I'm not forcing anyone. But yes, let me explain adjusting and timing. Sometimes you can find that there are figures which are appearing on what? But not yet in my. It means I must come and adjust my books. Those differences are called adjusting. I repeat. For example, sometimes when you pay varsity college, you don't come here with a bag full of notes. You go to the bank and pay them. Okay? And you can only bring what here? The proof of what? Can you see, if you don't bring that proof, varsity college can only be aware of the payment when they extract what? Meaning for time being, we have got what you call what? Because Jones paid us what? 500. But we did not reflect in our books. As long as you are still going to reflect in our books here, that difference is called what? Adjusting. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes, so sometimes you are only aware. Let's say sometimes this thing of bonuses, no, sometimes they give you incentives. You can see sometimes you check your bank account in the middle of the month. You see some digits there, 6 figures. Eh? You say, what's going on? Can you see now? Meaning it's only appearing where? On the bank statement. So it's now that you must come and update your books and say, I received how much? 6,000 or 6 million. Does that make sense? In a nutshell, adjusting is where the amount is reflected on the bank statement, but not yet in our books. When I say our books, I'm referring to CBR stands for cash book or cash receipts journal or what? Remember, both affect what? When I say my books, guys, I'm referring to the whole process here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But sometimes you can find that there are figures appearing where? In my books, but not yet on the. We call them what? Okay. So you'll see, a better example is like, for example, normally we issue checks in business because they say checks are the safest way of paying. Okay. So if I issue a check of 1 million, sorry guys, I'm just talking about the figures which I'm familiar with. Okay. Let's talk about 1 million check. So now sometimes, because you're seeing this 1 million for the first time, you must go and show your friends and family. Yeah, every time when we get together, say, can you see 1 million? But you only have how many months? 6 months. Because if 6 months can elapse, for example, the check will be dishonored at the end. They won't give you the money. They will say, go and get another check. So, for a period of 6 months, you can still have a check with you. Meaning for time being, the check cannot appear on my. Can you see now? So, the timing difference come in different ways. Maybe you deposit how much? 500. Sometimes after they say they are offline. But you still deposit, you know that? So for that period, the check will be having what? When they are online, they will go and update the bank statement. Maybe after 5 hours, it will reflect. So timing meaning appearing in my books, I know that I did that transaction, but not yet on the. Can you see the difference? But the question is, how do we record these differences? Adjusting, meaning they are reflecting on, but not yet on. So meaning that amount must either be recorded under what? Or, depending on the nature. Obviously, we record CBR if we receive cash. We record under CBP if we. Can you see now? But what about the timing? Meaning already they are appearing in one of these, but not yet on the. They will be recorded in something called bank reconciliation statement, of which I'm still going to show you. Don't worry. So just write for now next to the timing difference, and just write record in the bank reconciliation statement. I'm saying right, unless if your computer can remember. Okay, yes, but yes. Next to the timing, just write BRS in short. Yes, bank reconciliation statement. I'm talking about this. Guys, it will make sense by the time when I take an exercise with you. Because you must know the basic. Adjusting, just write record either in the CBR or CBP, because it depends. You must check time, otherwise I'll flow like nobody's business. It's like in church where it's Holy Spirit, you forget about many things. Okay? So you must tell me when it's half past. Leave you alone. Okay, thank you very much.
Amen.
Yes. Okay, now we understand this. If you don't understand, guys, I'm sorry. For now, on your behalf, I do understand. Okay? Yes. Now, I want to show you something else. Yes. I want to talk about the basic things. There are things called bank charges. In those days where few people used to have their accounts, still at school there. People just want to show you that they've got a card. When you go for trips, at home they only give you 20 rands. They have got cards. They want to show you, even if they don't have money, they go and check the balance. Be careful. That is a transaction. But they were showing off,
Yeah.
But they didn't know that they were charged. Nowadays they try to say, okay, if you withdraw, maybe it's for free. Thereafter, they charge you.
Yeah.
So the bank charges. In other words, a bank gets income in the form of what? Sometimes they call them transaction levies. Huh?
I never knew that when you check balance, you get charged for that before. I just thought they only charge you when we throw money.
No. Can you see? Now because of a competition now, they try to say, okay, if you check the balance, but
They'll charge you.
they will charge you for
Service
it.
fee.
Yeah, it's a service.
If you ever see a service fee on your
Keep checking, eh? That's why nowadays you must just go online
How
and
much is
check.
to check balance?
Yes, just check, people will check the balance first. When you check the balance before you draw, you check and you withdraw at the same time. Before they used to charge you twice. The balance. But now I think that because they're in a competition, now they say if you go inside the shop and you withdraw from the till, you avoid charges, like capital.
Yeah, because it's wise to check balance before you throw something that you're not sure about.
Now they say you can have a transaction for 5 rands. Capital. I'm just saying. So, it's good to have a competition, guys. The prices will end up what?
Will go down.
I think this guy needs a competition.
I don't know, I work for that company.
Sorry, but you need a competition, my man. Oh, are you working for it?
Yeah.
Sorry, my man. Yes. Yeah. Yes. But you are. It's like you're working for Department of Transport. We don't like each other, but you act like you like it. Okay. But we all understand the bank charges. Okay. Okay. Sometimes no one is perfect. Ish. Have you ever seen errors on your bank statement? The favorable one. I'm going to withdraw the money immediately. In business, you need to inform the bank.
Even in the individual.
Yes. Sometimes, let's say you find 3 million on your bank statement. Withdraw it. But hey, they will check first before authorization. Sometimes when you go there, when they say authorization, I disappear. Who are they calling? Can you see? So sometimes we make errors in our books, or sometimes the errors here take place because we recommend friends and families to work for us because they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, we can make errors, but here the bank can make an error. I remember one day I was depositing money there, 1,000. They put 10,000 by mistake. Yes.
Every time when you buy something, they normally say authorized, please. What does that mean? They're clearing the transaction, or what are they doing?
Yeah, in origin there's something called segregation of duties. They limit you to certain amounts. So if it's 5,000 maybe upwards, they say no, we need someone to come and authorize. It's like when you're using accounting systems, there are other things that you cannot access. So it's like a control around that particular environment. Yeah, when they say authorized, maybe it's not a routine transaction, something that comes after some time. You know that?
Oh.
That's why they need someone to come and authorize for you. So it helps. Even at home, we must have those codes. Eh?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'll use that then.
Especially for your door, you must authorize. Okay, but depending on who made the error, guys, if the error has been made by us, if I say by us, it's either the error is in there, or the error must be corrected within our books. But I'll show you how to correct the errors. But the errors which are found on the bank statement, they must be recorded in the BRS. Write it down for now. Remember, I'm just giving you the basics for now. Errors found on the bank statement must always be rectified under the BRS. I'll show you. Bank reconciliation statement. But if the error has been made in our books, correct them in our books. But I'll show you how to do that. So the skill that I want you to have at the moment is to know who made the error and know where to rectify the error. The process of rectifying the whole thing is going to be done next week. Theory. Yes. No one is perfect. But when it comes to me, sometimes it happens. Perfection. Yeah, but errors happen. Mistakes. Even though sometimes we've got other errors, can't question them. Okay? What else can I talk about? Okay, obviously I did mention this. Remember this? And we've got, they behave the same. But how do they differ? The debit order and the stop order.
The debit order goes through, the stop order, the debit doesn't go through.
No. Then with the stop order, you go and request, because I owe Sylvester money.
Yes.
So I go to my bank to request every month they must pay Sylvester 500 rand
For a certain period.
for a certain period.
Yes.
With the debit order, I give permission via my signature or something when I take out the loan or
Yes.
whatever, and then they give them permission to deduct every month.
That's true. But they have got the same impact on my money. Okay? But this one is not safe. Because I can make a deal with you now. See, after 2 hours. Money. Can you see? And this one, if you're not careful, can pay till you die.
Which one?
This one.
Order, yeah.
If you're not careful. Because some companies, after you finish your contract with them, they still keep what? Taking money. But this one, you instructed the bank to debit money for a certain period. After that period, no stop order anymore.
And but you asked me to be the timekeeper.
Today?
To be the timekeeper.
Oh, sorry. Okay. It's time up, eh? But guys, it's always next time.